Home is a place.
No. Home is a feeling.
Home is my motherland.
It's more where you feel alive and inspired.
Well, I think we're talking about the same thing, aren't we? Home is where our story begins.
What's your story?
HomeSick at Home every Friday from 9 to 10 p.m.
On Radio Van 103.1 with Ina MK
and Rina D.
Shot City. I'm coming home again.
Yes, this is HomeSick at Home, English-speaking show, and tonight we're hosting Vrej Kassouni. And yes, by the way, tonight we don't have a video, we don't have live broadcast, we don't have anything.
But I think I know the reason for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go ahead. We should share with our listeners.
Our guest about it. Should we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Should I tell?
You can tell the story, or I can tell it my way. I think you should say it first. It's better.
Well, better you say it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, when we were first in contact with you, requesting that you join us, and I told you that the program was audio and video, I remember the comment you gave me. Apparently you don't enjoy the video interviews. Tell us about that.
Why?
Well, it's a weird situation that lasts 1 year and maybe 2 years. I'm not into the videos. I prefer to show my work with its like the result as it is, but not my face or myself. I can't explain it because it's happened at once, and I stopped dislike the video interviews actually, and since then I'm refusing most of the interviews.
So it's about modesty and not just that you don't like your face on the videos.
That's part of it. Maybe because I saw that I'm getting old day by day. I don't want to.
Come on.
Maybe I want. No, I can't explain what is the reason, and I'm sorry that my inner power broke your computer and you can't record. Which I'm happy with the result because now I feel more comfortable. I speak with you. And I'm free with my mimic face expressions.
You can even just lay down the sofa.
Yeah, that is the next
whatever you
going
the
to
next
happen.
Move.
Yes.
But it's a shame because people should have seen this handsome face.
They can go and watch my paintings and drawings.
That goes along with this powerful and constructive character that you have.
Okay, should we speak about ReAnimania now?
Oh, yes.
Please, go ahead.
ReAnimania. It's very interesting because just a couple of days ago, I was meeting one of my friends discussing different issues regarding the 10th anniversary for next year. And he just reminded me, said, "Oh my God, I'm kind of a founder of this festival." I said, "How it comes?" He said, "Do you remember?" He said, in 2005, we were talking about starting, and he said you were telling me about this festival and ideas and etc. I said, "Really?" Because I in my mind the record goes to 2006, and he came up with 2005 because I have a proof that I written the whole concept of the festival on piece of paper that time in 2006. So it turns out that it was from the 2005. The idea came because of the golden apricot. And I was always wondering why we don't have animation screening like movies more in the festival. Of course, that time the director himself, Khachadurian, he told me that it's not their aspect, that if you would like to do something, they will support. And the second and main reason was the lack of the networking in the on international level. In animation field, because we that time, the young generation, we didn't have this opportunity to communicate with international experts, and even to watch at that time there was no internet as it was as it is today, and the YouTube wasn't full of these animation movies, or there wasn't these piracy links that you can watch anything anytime. And I remember, like, for example, the world's #1 animation film festival, Annecy. I was every year paying a lot of money to get their VHS collection of the year's best animated movies that won awards. Even from Syria, I was doing that. And I said we should have something that instead of waiting few years to watch the latest movie, to watch it just we have to be up to date, like to watch everything what's happening around us just at that moment, not later. And we also have the right to develop ourselves, and that was the only way to develop the industry in Armenia. And instead of, we had this problem always to prove ourselves on international level, to go to join an international festival and submit with the competition, and you win or you don't win, and people around you in your country, they evaluate you if you are good or not. So I said, why because we are very proud of our talents and our history in art and animation and movie making, but we didn't have that time animation platform, where in this time, vice versa, we can invite international guests to Armenia to compete, and on our stage they compete and they win films. And it's happened, and many movies, actually, without any exaggeration, we have this record on the website, and it's fact that many movies won their first prize in Armenia, and then they went and they reached to the Oscar.
Wonderful.
This very interesting thing that happened in ReAnimania. That means our local Armenian jury members being very fair and professional in their work, and that means our professionals are international professionals, not only local Armenians. And of course, within the years, we have many examples that some guests, after they visit to Armenia, either they did animation on Armenia with their own budget and their own company, or a few of them even they cooperate with the young people they met in Armenia in their movies. We have such examples as well.
So it's a great platform also
exactly.
to promote
and
Armenia.
That's very important. And now Armenia is one of those very well known. ReAnimania is one of the very well known animation film festivals around the world. And yes, we also introduced Armenian animation to the world through ReAnimania as much as we can. And of course, the main reason is because me and people like me in Armenia, we are strong because we have people, these very strong artists like Lev Atamanov 80 years ago, and then Valentin Botbomokov, and then Robert Sahakian. They maintained this field and they developed it, and we have it. And one of the reasons I forgot to tell at the beginning, for me to move to Armenia was that time they were making Kassouni David the movie. In 2008 when I was in Syria, in 1998 when I was in Aleppo yet, I heard about this first feature animation movie we are making in Armenia, and I said myself, here's the chance for me. So I can go, because I had in my mind like it's a kind of big studio as Disney, they are doing something big, I have to be part of it. And of course I came and I found out that there were only few people working, and the low budget is nothing next to it. There was no budget at all. And I couldn't fit in that studio because of the money, lack of the budget, and lack of the professionals, so I worked with them for 1 month and then stepped out.
And speaking of a budget, I hate to interrupt you at this moment, but we have another advertisement.
Thank you. Thank you, sponsors.
We will come back right away after the advertisement. Stay tuned.
Radio 1.
Ina, I thought this was an English-speaking show. Are we on air? Yes, every Friday night.
Homesick at Home. Are we on air?
Yes, it's 24,
We're back,
26 past the hour, and we are here with Vrej Kassouni. And he was telling us a story,
35
right?
minutes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Story. We paused on Kassouni David
Yeah.
fragment.
So
You were telling about.
So that was another one of the big reasons that I moved, because I thought I would be able to work in the industry of animation, because as an artist I was always looking for a field that won't keep me away from drawing all the day and make money at the same time. And of course, because of lack of many things that period, I couldn't continue in that. And I stepped back and continued first, learned animation professionally for years. And then I created my own studio and I started to do advertisement commercials in animation, and I started to make a living out of that.
Great.
So,
Great story.
Now that you just mentioned that you learned, we know that reading your bio, of course, a long bio. Okay, we know that you have studied in Syria, in Armenia, and
Yes.
also in the United Kingdom. Tell us about the difference between these experiences for you.
first one is my character, who I am, Aleppo. Because if I have my teacher once when we were in Aleppo studying art. There was some kind of funny, sarcastic question: what if was Michelangelo an Armenian and living in Armenia? Is he was going to be an Michelangelo or not? Of course, the answer was no.
Mikhail Angelian.
Angelian, but never Michelangelo. The thing is that I can never deny the power or whatever Aleppo itself and the community and the schools and all things taught me there in Aleppo how to be as a person. I'm grateful to Aleppo. Because of lack of many things like artistic movements in Aleppo, it wasn't that much that time.
Yes.
It all happens late 90s,
Yes.
and we were part of it as far as I remember. But because of that lack of art events or activities, we forced ourselves to do more than what we can. And we made it, I think that. And then at the end, I understood that the roof is getting lower and I needed to go out, and it was Armenia. But the difference is, like one, as I said, Aleppo is my, who construct me as who I am now. And after years that I wanted to go out and find the freedom in expression and find myself, as we used to say when we were young, I want to establish my character, whatever it is. And I went to Artman Animation School, one of the best animation schools, for 3 months in United Kingdom, in Bristol. I went to New York for internship, but that was the last time. It was in 2011. But something strange happened after 2012 that I understood I still feel this homesicking and looking back to Aleppo. And sometimes I used to say, I wish I was there in Aleppo, in that corner that I'm painting. And especially, unfortunately, because of the war, I felt that homesicking more and more. Even though I never thought about going back, because I feel quite perfect in Armenia, my homeland, and where I really do more creative works. But that's the basics. Aleppo is the basics.
So do you still feel homesick?
Yes.
And where is your
Of course.
home?
Aleppo.
Okay,
I mean,
great.
my home is Armenia, but it's my birthplace. I know Aleppo is my birthplace, the place where I've been educated. And as I was trying to say that out of Aleppo, after Aleppo's period, I was trying to construct myself, yes, as a human being, as an artist, as whoever I am. But now I understand I was already whoever I was, but just I developed. I just continue adding layers on my character or my personality or my education or my knowledge. But that was where all began for me.
So what do you miss the most about
Aleppo?
Yes.
Home. Birthplace. The smell, especially, I don't want to turn...
So you are a romantic.
Depends.
He gave it to me with
depends.
that answer.
I don't want to turn this subject like very tragic, sad subject, but for last year I miss Aleppo more after I lost my father. Because all this, my childhood memories back with my father is all related with the childhood back to Aleppo, and the smell of him, it takes me always to Aleppo.
May he rest in peace.
Thank you.
So, ReAnimania motto or slogan is "Life is a picture, make the picture alive."
Yeah,
Why?
but we corrected lately. It's English-wise, they told me that it's wrong. It's supposed to be bring the picture alive, bring the picture to life.
To life.
To life.
To life.
Yes.
I was when I created that motto, I just translated from Armenian to English directly, and nobody correct me after 8 years. Very good friend from abroad, Armenian. Her mother tongue is English. She corrected, and we are now going to change it. Actually, we changed it many places because it's the idea was behind ReAnimania, as I said, to animate the industry. Because, as I said, because we had this big talented internationally, very well known names in Armenia. We had this now 88th year anniversary of Armenian animation, but there was something missing 10 years ago, like this networking, international communication, maybe promotion, maybe a little bit show to be more open for people, because the standards of festival during the Soviet time, there wasn't festival.
Yeah.
There were gatherings between intellectual people, screening movies and discuss about it. In foreign universe, out of Soviet, that was named festival.
Yeah.
And maybe beside the intellectual people and professionals, there were those who are not professionals, but they were also enjoying the festival. And that was the idea, to bring those who has nothing to do with the professionalism in the field, to educate them about the professional things that we used to do. So they observe and watch and understand us. And that's why festival was important for us.
Yes, it's interesting that you mentioned this, because I had a first-hand experience last year with the ReAnimania Festival. They invited me as a public jury for the screenings of some animations. It was very interesting for me because I had a inside look at what this really is, because I had no full concept of what it was, and it was very well organized, and it was very informative for me.
Thank you.
Do you like our animation?
Yeah, that's graphic animation.
Which work of art would best describe your life?
I wanted to ask that.
Which?
I wanted to ask.
Sorry, didn't hear.
Which work of art would best describe your life?
My life?
Yeah.
Or my feelings? let's
Because
say.
life is a picture, you know.
Yes, Francis Bacon.
Yes.
Paintings.
Okay.
It's, you know, when we were young, we were going through the classics, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Picasso, Matisse, all these names. But again, when I left Aleppo, Syria in general, my first years in Armenia, I understood that Francis Bacon is mine. And very interesting story. I had a good friend from Paris. His father was from Latakia, Syria. Moved to France years when he was a child, and his son, that time he was my age. We used to meet in Kesap every summer, and we used to swim in Kaladuran, and he was a great diver. And one summer he came with Francis Bacon book album. That time it was in 94, 95, something like that. And also again, it was out of my mind for a while. When I left Syria, I stayed attached more to this painter than others in general. And he's fantastic. Francis Bacon is he expressed my feelings, my life, maybe very mixed.
Very interesting. Do you have a pet? Because that's how we met, right?
Pets.
A pet. I used to walk my dog. That's how we met.
No, I don't have. It's my dream to have.
That's how we met. Do you have a pet?
That's how we met. That
Do you
was
regret?
in Syria.
Yes.
Yes. No, unfortunately now I don't have. But my dream is because of traveling, due the obligations and my responsibilities, traveling few times a year, and even it's very big challenge for me. I can't live without a dog at all.
Okay.
But it's problem. I think one day, once I settle down and step back from everything and dedicate myself for painting only, I will have the dog next to me all the time.
It's interesting, the cycle of an artist's life, if you look at it, it's always like this. It starts and then it goes back to what it was, the roots, you know. It's always the same. It's very
scary.
Interesting. Okay.
What about the languages you speak? So many languages.
As you understood already, my English is not that fluent. I'm just surviving.
Not really.
Yeah. Armenian, Arabic, Turkish fluently I can speak or can read, not writing. Russian, I understand. Now if I watch a movie, 70% I can understand. I can read the letters easily. Miakhiznak. And if I been forced, I can blow up few sentences in Russian to survive, but not that much. And my dream is, for years, I'm every year trying to starting learning French for 1 month, 2 months, and then I'm due the
I hear you in this
lack of time I stop. But now I have a challenge. Actually, I promised. It's not secret. Okay, I promised our Mr. New French ambassador, Mr. Lacotte, that I have 11 months to speak French with him.
Okay, now everybody knows about your promise.
Yes. I hope he's listening to this, and because he promised also to speak Armenian in 11
that's
months.
great.
Okay.
So,
well, how many months do you have?
11.
Okay, we will get in touch
with the
with you.
baggage of vocabulary that I have. If I force myself, I may start something, but let's see.
Okay.
Given the languages that you
So
know,
it's about
and
5-6.
the languages you know and speak, what language do you think in?
Of course, Armenian. And sometimes it's weird, but I can think in 3 languages.
Oh wow!
Because we learned it parallel, and it's weird. You know that, yes?
Okay.
First is Armenian, second is Arabic, third is Turkish.
Wow.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, but unfortunately because my mind is flying around these languages sometimes, because there's a lot of interesting expressions in Turkish, which comes from Western Armenian translated to Turkish, and very connected to the Western Armenian, like proverbs or says, let's say. and of course Arabic, because we grew up in Aleppo with Arabic friends, and we used to communicate a lot in Arabic.
Another question comes to my mind. Is there a language you paint in?
Yes, I call it expressionism. I mean, this is how I call it the language. But between all the languages of communication is this simple line. It's the deepest for me, more than words. And the image, the line, the media, all this, it's very powerful than many, many, many words.
Of course. Yes.
When do you feel that the specific work of art that you're working on is finished?
It will be kind of typical answer from me that we never. I mean, I don't want to generalize it, but for me, I never feel it's finished. You never feel, because the day that you feel that you finished,
then you
are really finished. So
the game is over.
The only one thing that we do, we put aside the one that we let's say satisfied for a while, and whatever we feel that is unfinished, we continue on another piece of paper or canvas. This is how it works, non-stop.
Okay, the word artist, how would you define it?
This is first of all, I don't see myself as an artist. This is another struggle for me. Lately I'm challenging, because every human being is an artist. It's about the ability of using this, let's say, the talent or the power, and bring it out. I don't care about like the term it's called now, art or artist, but it's a way of communication. So like you are guys now speaking, this is the most beautiful art that you are able to do, make people speak, asking questions.
Rina can also
so
sing.
You are artist. I mean, it's very important. So because for this part of the period of the century, artists became very cheap thing for some. Everyone, especially now on Instagram and Facebook and social media, whoever just scratch a line or a stroke, put a stroke of brush on a canvas, they call themselves art. They have the right to express themselves. Everybody's an artist. Maybe we should define, I don't know, I'm speaking nonsense now, I'm just but the idea is I don't want to define it as an artist, because I didn't born as a professional and artist. I born as a human being that God gave me some talents. I'm just developing it, achieving the goal that I have in my mind. Some people, they may not like what I do. Some people, they may not call it art, but I call it let's say Vrejism or Kassounism or whatever it is. It's mine. I don't want to block myself and in the frame of this term, a word which called art, which is very big actually, but unfortunately our world today, it's limited.
Has belittled the meaning of the word, yes.
Once you define art, it's not art anymore. This is my conclusion.
Actually, art means trying
it is
to
as
understand.
You can't define God. You know, it's a kind
let's
of...
not get into that.
So let's not get into it. It's very difficult, because really it's kind of
get into that.
struggling in that. It's very difficult to... Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
What's the biggest fear of your life?
Wow.
Don't tell me you haven't thought about it. You're just thinking about it? No.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't thought about it, but it's very common. Every human being has a fear. This is the contrast. I love to be isolated, but again, I fear from loneliness. But I love to be isolated. There's very interesting contrast.
Yeah, I understand what
I think
you mean.
a lot of people that, if I may, I'm scared to do it now, if I may call them artists, have this, I think.
Could be.
Yes.
It's very human. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's...
because they have this balance of being an introvert and an extrovert at the same time. This kind of balance, yes. It's interesting.
Some serious subjects
yes,
we should touch.
I'd like to touch
wanna do
upon
it?
this,
Okay.
yes. The Armenian genocide. Acknowledging, forgiving, and moving on. Tell us about this.
Renaissance.
Through?
Yeah, rebirth. I mean, again, we have to go back to Aleppo. We used to... it's nobody's mistake or fault at the end of the day, but they educated us in terms of we've been very depressed. We lost, we've been massacred, we've been killed, we've been exiled, we've been, but we forgot for half a century and more. We forgot about our achievements in this world and our investment as a human beings. And for some reason, I understand the reason why, and we've been through this as a young kids till our adultness, and later with this. I don't want to say hatred, but it's the world that time was closed. There was too much borders than now today. And there wasn't this international communication and internet, etc. But I remember in 1997 in HBU, they gave me the opportunity to organize the genocide event. Okay. And the whole event I did organize it with the videos and all these materials that I remember everybody went out of the hall that day were feeling rebirth, like everybody was fresh because they were winner but not loser. And that year I decided to change something, and I did. In 97 it was, and it was and I start to promote this idea. Yes, we've been in this situation, but we stood on our feet, and we are we won the war because we exist. And even more than existence, we produce.
We're thriving.
Even serve, and we even build cities around the world and helped in many fields that time. In Syria, where we have in Middle East a lot of examples regarding that, and I just can't. Like 2 days ago, I was talking about one example, which I would really love to mention it. In Aleppo in 40s, Robert Jebejian, he built the Syrian Academy of Art, where we later studied. In whole Middle East, there was no art school at all. He did it in Aleppo. Can you imagine? And even at the beginning, first years, they were drawing nude with models. It's really amazing thing that after the genocide, after 25 years, 30 years, like there's an art school in Aleppo, nowhere in desert. And in Armenia, there wasn't academy that time even. This is very important to know. And Alexander Sarukhan, very first Armenian caricaturist, he spread the word of caricature, and now there's in Egypt Sarukhanism. Vartan Ajemian in Diran Ajemian in Lebanon. A lot of names around the world that period after the genocide directly they invest, and they been leaders in their fields.
We need to go on a break.
But you promised we wouldn't.
Yeah, this is the last one. you know what? 30
Thank you,
minutes are
sponsors.
gone. Stay tuned. This is Homesick at Home.
Radio 1.
Ռեն, չի ուշացար, պրիտոմ չզանգեցիր, պրոպկա էր։
Հայերեն խոսիր հասկնամ։
Ռեն, ինչու ուշացար, ընդ որում չզանգահարեցիր, խցանում էր։
Ինչեր։
Never mind.
Չէ, ասե ինչեր։
This isn't gonna work. Typical repeat.
Oh, here she goes again.
And I'll be doing it every Friday with you on Radio 1.
Homesick at home.
Homesick at Home is coming to its logical ending. But we could sit here another 1 or 2 hours, but this happens again. And we have 4 more minutes to go, and I think Rena has a question for our dear
Hurry up.
guest, Vrej, Kassouni. Go.
Yalla.
Yalla, go.
Tempo, change the tempo. Okay. Any upcoming projects that you'd like to talk about?
The main project is, as a project, it's ReAnimania's 10th anniversary and 80th anniversary next year. It's going to be a huge and massive festive year. Everybody is invited. It will October 28, 2018, the opening, which is on the International Animation Day.
Is this it?
And
He's trying to do it fast.
What do you do for fun?
for fun is reading and painting, and if I have the time, sport.
The last book you
Nonsense.
enjoyed.
She's quicker.
What?
The last book you enjoyed.
It was a Greek writer. Actually, many was, but the last one was about on Syria. Let's say about the war in the Middle East. Unfortunately, now I forgot the title, but I love political analysis and the books, and it was about the Middle East and the regional conflicts. And now I'm reading another one on Syria as well.
Something that you can't stand at all.
I can't stand at all. Անհամեստության հագարակը.
Անհամեստության հագարակը համեստություն.
No. Unhamest lal, sorry.
Being
Not
the
modest.
opposite. Immodest, yes, immodest.
Immodest, yes. Because that way it's better. People can understand you much better. Keep your work goals before your human body in general. Let's say.
Okay, and the last question. Do you like our show?
I love your show. I want to come back now. As long as there's no video recording, I'm here.
I mean, when we asked what do you do for fun, you should have said the show. This show.
Show must go on,
Well,
dear ladies
next
and
time.
gentlemen.
Thank you for
dear
the invitation.
listeners of Radio 1, we had a wonderful, interesting guest, which we are ready to discover over and over again. And hopefully we will have the chance to meet you again in your busy schedule. We really enjoyed
And
tonight.
the book was On Good Silahlar from Bolsa High Writer. I forgot the name, but one of the latest books that I read.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if I can translate it at the moment. Angut Sirarner.
Vrej Kassouni, thank you for
Vrej
joining
Kassouni.
us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Hope you enjoyed this evening as much as we did. It was a great Friday night for us. Have a great weekend, and we wish you all the best in all your upcoming projects and also the holidays.
See you at ReAnimania.
See you there. Homesick at Home.
With Ina MK.
And Rena D.
Radio 1 is number 1.
103.0